about 10 years ago, I encountered the group that these were wearing the shirts of, and one of the things that is attractive to me about it is that I spent a lot of years in India and Thailand and studying meditation, sitting in long retreats and trying to go, let's say, to somewhere higher in life, to something uplifting, to something higher consciousness. And they were wonderful experiences, but I kept having a similar thing happen where I would go out of these retreats and then I'm back in my life and I still see some of the same difficulties or the same ways that I am dishonest or manipulate or do things that are not on the up and up, shall we say. And so I met this group of friends, community that studies things in our day-to-day life and how to make use of them. And one of the things that we do is take humanitarian trips, and we find some place that we see there's people in need in some way. It's not hard to find on this planet, and go there and attempt to bring something good. So we did one a few years back in Cambodia, and we went to a very rural area where there was a clinic, and this clinic served like a area about 150 kilometers around, and they had two very small rooms in this, it seemed like one doctor and one nurse operation, and we decided to build an addition of four stations where people could stay, primarily women who were giving birth, and they would come up with these. There was no room for them to stay, so even if there was a complicated birth, they'd come and half hour later and they're on the back of their husband's moped having to go home. And so we built this addition. But this brings in a very different part of my life now. So in addition to this humanitarian work, since I was a boy, I have been very avid and pretty good at racket sports. And early on it was tennis. And I remember watching my tennis heroes growing up and wanting to be someday playing at Wimbledon or playing the US Open, but I was never that good. But fast forward a bunch of years and I encountered this sport called pickleball. Anyone heard of pickleball? Okay, so I had a lot of tennis, badminton, table tennis background, and I gravitated toward it and I got quite good. And one of the things that I find remarkable in this group of friends that I'm with is that it's not only about like going and doing these humanitarian projects, but also helping people live out kind of unfinished business or dreams you might have. So I had a dream to play in the Pickleball National Championships. Now, this was right in the middle of this trip that we'd taken to Cambodia. So I did this crazy thing of, I first went there as a scout. We usually send some people to like find out what are we going to do, get there, meet the local people, and find out the project. So I was one of those people that went. And we were driving around. I remember going through like rice fields everywhere, and there's like a narrow kind of mud path, and we were on these tuk-tuks, the back of a kind of motorcycle, but very small, going out in these rural places and taking down notes of what they needed or what we might be able to do. So there was one family that we went to, and what they wanted were these giant water collection tanks, like ceramic, but big, that they catch the water off their roofs. And that was their drinking water for months. And so I wrote this down, and we're going around seeing just some very poor people living this way. So I did that for maybe 10 days or something, and then flew to Arizona, United States, for a 10-day pickleball championships. And that was tremendous culture shock. But then proceeding through, that's kind of a whole other story. But through luck or good fortune, my partner and I won the Pickleball National Championships. So during that time, I am now in like eating whatever I want. I'm going out to restaurants. I'm feeling like I just won. I deserve to have fancy things and just living it up. So the day after winning, now I'm flying back to Cambodia to engage in this project. And well, I've gotten a little bit puffed up during this time. And I get back and we're doing this project and we're now building this clinic, and I'm not getting the food I want. I want to go out and get all these like the local vegetables that they grow and have some Cambodian food. And why are we eating simple food when we could be enjoying this country and this place? And I got cranky. So for the next little time, I'm kind of like feeling entitled and upset, and here we're trying to like be giving to these people, and I got my need. So we get to like one of the last days, and I see that because of this, like I'm really taking myself out of what we're there for. So I finally out it, like, hey, why are we doing this? I want to get to the food. And someone helps explain to me, like, consider you're in the army, and that you're here to do a job. You're here to study this idea that maybe there's something giving in you that doesn't need all this. And it helped me in that moment to see, like, if what I wanted to do would take time, would take energy, would take something away from what we were there to do. And I've been doing that. And I finally got to the last day, and I look at the notes that I had taken from when I was there prior to going, and I see this family and the water catchment that they wanted. I'm like, oh no. Here I've been like self-absorbed this whole time, and I've forgotten about them. And so I bring it up and say, hey, there's this family I forgot about. Can we go do this? And it was too late. We were leaving and we had to go, and it still stings to think back that family did not get what something so basic, and really because of my self-absorption, my need in that time, through the help, with a little help from my friends, to get to see what are these, call them obstacles, what are the things in the way of what is beautiful underneath, what is giving, what is caring, what is compassionate, and that it's there if we can remove the kind of the gunk on the outside.